Thank you so much for joining us today. So my name is Charlize. I'm from California State University, Northridge, and I have my colleagues Alex here. So I will turn it to him.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Brown, and I am the interim manager here at Fullerton College, located in the city of Fullerton in Southern California. Many of you may know the area also for Orange County, and that's the specific area where we are, about 10 minutes away from Disneyland, just as a frame of reference.
Just Alex, I mentioned a little bit. So in the Californias, we have different education systems, and we have the best colleges in the United States. And California State University system actually is well known for the largest and most affordable and successful university systems in the United States. So for the California State University systems, we also call it as a CSU. We have the 23 campuses within the systems, and we actually is the nation's largest university system. We enrolled about 500,000 of students. If we do the survey, 1 out of 10 California employees actually graduate from one of the CSU campuses. So that's really amazing. And if you take a look at the map, you can see all our 23 campuses is across the cover all entire California states, from all the top, from the Humboldt to the bottom, to all the south to the San Diego. And then for the seasons, the schools I work at, actually we are in the Southern California, and I will explain our locations a little bit later. Here are some of the benefits of studying at CSUN. So first of all, we provide a hands-on approach. So you will learn the practical skills and experience through the projects or the research by collaborating with the faculties and the peer students. We focused on the job placement. So we prepare our students with skills and experience, landing into the industry, landing to your first job. And we have a quality of education. Most of our faculty, the professors are holding PhD degree. And we have the moderate size classroom that just allows you to have direct interactions with professors and teachers. We also have extensive academic and student support services. Take CSUN as examples. We have academic advising hub, where every international student will be assigned with academic advisor for mapping out their study plan. We have Learning Resource Center, where you can find a free tutor to help you with your class, with your homework. And lastly, we are the research and community impact, and we are diversity within the entire CSUs. Okay, so in the following presentations, I will take CSUN as an example to talk about how you can transfer from a Korean university to CSUN or to the CSU campuses. All right, so now I will just touch base with the transfer option. So if you are already studying in the colleges or university in a career, there's 2 options for you to transfer to the US, university in California, the lower division and the upper division transfer. So the lower division transfer means that you have less than 60 transferable units. And then when you transfer, you may transfer as a freshman or sophomore based on the units that you can transfer to the school. If you already have 60 transferable units, then you'll be considered as upper division transfer students. Then once you transfer, you are transferred as junior students. But so some students may asking, so let's say I'm already in my senior year, I only have 10 units to graduate. So that means once I transfer, we'll transfer as a senior and then graduates within 1 year. The answer is no, because all the CSU and UC schools, we have the requirements that with the CSU, the transfer students need to complete at least 50 units at CSU. Normally that is about 2 years or 1 year and a half, depending on how many units you take in each semester. So that is what is the lower division and upper division. And just please keep in mind, not all the university accepting the lower division. So fortunately, CSUN, we do like accepting the lower division transfer students. But what I know, some CSU campuses, such as like the Long Beach, they don't accept the lower division. So if you are interested in with the other CSU or with the CUC, please confirm with their admission whether they accept lower division transfer students. Okay, so in order to transfer to CSUNs, like you need to meet several requirements. The first one, we look at your college GPA. We need to have like a 2.0 college GPA, which is the average GPA with all the courses you completed in the institution you studied at. And the second, you need to complete the college level math with C or higher grades. The college level math can be the statistics, can be college eligibles, or the calculus. Either of them will count. And the third, you need to complete English proficiency exam requirements. So for the TOEFL, minimum is the 61, for L 6.0, and the Duolingo 95. If you transfer as a lower division, and then you need to meet another like a supplemental requirement, which is the high school GPA requirement. We need to have 3.0 high school GPA. If you transfer upper division, then you don't need to submit your high school transcripts. So remember, all the admission requirement I'm talking about right now, it just apply to the CSUN. With the other CSU or UC, please go to their admission or their website to confirm with their admission requirements. Okay, then now you know with the general admission requirements, then your next questions may ask like, then how should I know what courses are transferable, which are not? So before I answer that question, you need to know a little bit about the curriculum settings in the higher education in California. So in the university in California, the bachelor degree program is designed as a 4-year degree program. So for the first 2 years, the California students, they need to complete the general education courses and the lower division major courses, or you can also call as a prerequisite courses. Then starting their 3rd year, so the last 2 years, the students were taking the upper division major courses. So speaking with the general education courses, it also categorized into the 6 areas, area A to the area F. So any courses that you completed in the Korean that can fall into the general education courses except English will be transferable. So let's just give you some examples. So any English courses, it won't transferable because the Korean is not English speaking country, so that is why it's not transferable. But if you take physics, math, then it will be fall into the area B for the scientific inquiry and quantitative reasoning, that is transferable. So any courses like dancing, music, or arts, or humanities, like those courses will fall into the area C, then it's transferable. Courses such as psychology, sociology, criminal justice will be the area D, and biology or kinesiology will be the area E. So just take a look at your transcripts and to see what courses you are taking. Then you will have ideas. Any courses, as long as they are general education courses, will be transferred to the CSU, to the CSUN. So then if you take some lower division major courses, it may be transferable depending on the major and the course itself. Take business like student as an example. So if you are taking the macroeconomy or microeconomy, yeah, that will be transferable to CSUN or the CSU because it's the general theory that will apply to all the universities around the world. But if you are the accounting students, you are taking the principle of the accounting, the entry-level course, it won't transferable because the accounting system may be different between the Korea and the US, so it won't transferable. If you're the engineering students, the Java language, like a C++ language, those languages, if it's like a lower division courses, definitely it will transfer to us because it's a universal like a computing language that will used by the entire world. So that will be transferable. So it really depends on the major and courses itself. And for the upper division major courses. So let's say you are studying in the third year, but you are taking some upper level or middle level or higher level major courses. Those courses will not transferable to us. So you still need to take upper division courses at CSUN or the CSU or the UC. That is the university policy. So if you still feel the confusion about all the general education courses, or if you're unsure if what courses are falling into which category, don't worry about that. As the time to apply, you need to submit your high school, the college transcripts. Our admission team will evaluate your transcripts and help you to calculate your transfer units after you're admitted, and then they will do that for you. So you don't need to do it by yourself. And if you are interested to know your transferable units in advance before you apply, feel free to email me with your copy of your unofficial transcripts. I can have our admission team do the pre-evaluation for you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sha. So community college, just like Sha was showing you for the California State University system, the CSUs, she was showing you that there are 23 campuses spread across the entire state of California. And the same is true for community colleges. However, instead of only 23 campuses, there are 114. And we also are spread throughout California. And the reason that there are more of us is because we are really designed for our local community. So we set up in our local areas and we try to provide that beginning education to our students before they go on to transfer to a four-year university to earn their bachelor's degree. So this is just a brief or a small photo to show you sort of the breadth and the options that exist in the state if you are interested in attending a community college. Next slide, please. All right, so just as a quick recap, in case anyone is unfamiliar, what is a community college? We are your first 2 years of school of your undergraduate degree, right? So in the United States, a bachelor's degree is usually a 4-year degree. So you will do your first 2 years at the community college, and then you will transfer. The same idea as what you might be thinking about if you are taking school, if you're doing your first degree in Korea right now, you're thinking about transferring. And that might mean you're transferring to a CSU like CSUN with Sha, or maybe some other location. The same thing is happening at our schools, at community colleges. Students are starting here and then they are transferring on. At community college, there are internship and work opportunities for you as an international student after you graduate, okay? And we also offer, in addition to to undergraduate programs, we also offer certificate programs. So those are usually more targeted, specific to what you might be interested in learning because you already have a degree and you don't want to get another degree, but you want more targeted knowledge or understanding in your specific area. And that's what a certificate program would provide for you. So why would you choose a community college, right? Why would you come to a community college if you are already studying at a university in Korea? And one of the main reasons why many international students choose to come to community college first is because we prepare you a little bit better for the 4-year experience. A 4-year university experience in the United States, it's not going to be the same as it is back at home. I'm sure if you have been watching movies and television shows, they show you many depictions of what college life is like here in the United States. And a lot of times that is true. And so sometimes it can be very off-putting. Sometimes it can be very different, right? People actually live on a campus here in the US. I know in many other parts of the world, people do not live on campus for their university experience. So we are a great way for you to sort of get your feet wet, as we say, to get a little bit of experience before being thrown into this 4-year university where they kind of expect you to know what you're doing and they don't always give you the same support. Community colleges were a little bit smaller. We try to give you that extra support. And so that's why many students will choose to start at the community college, whether they're transferring or it's their first time starting. We are an extensive and well-respected educational entry into university in the US. All of us are public schools. We're all publicly funded by the state. We're all recognized by Ministry of Education, by our, Ministry of Education, that's not what we call it, Department of Education, and our accrediting bodies throughout the country. So they are just as good as a 4-year university in terms of your education. It's just an entry start for you. And lastly, we are a more economical option. So I already talked about the support a little bit for our students, but economics also plays a factor in why you might choose to start here. And I'll show you a screen a little bit more down the line that talks about our costs. But it is something to consider because, like Shaw said, right now you're paying in won, right? You're not paying in US dollars. So every little penny, every little bit that you can save will help. And that's where we can also come in to support you. Next slide. So how would you apply to a community college? We're all the same. Okay, we are known as an open access institution. And so that means we welcome everyone. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, how much education you have completed or have not completed, excuse me. So we really are not judging you or basing our admissions on your past academics. We just need to meet certain criteria to make sure that we know who you are and that you are able to at least be knowledgeable with your beginning classes as it pertains to perhaps your English level, okay? So to apply to any community college, including mine, you would submit a general online application. There's one application in California, just like for the CSU. For the community colleges, we have our own, and you can use that application for all 114. And then each individual school will have an additional supplementary application. And this supplemental application is really designed to obtain the information we need to issue the I-20, which is what you will need to make your F1 visa appointment at the US Embassy to enter in, okay? We do have an application fee. It's a $40 application fee at Fullerton. It varies from school to school, but it's on the lower end. We do require your transcripts, but the transcripts are, again, they're not to evaluate your GPA or your grades. It's more to see what classes have you taken. Have you already done Calculus 1? Maybe then because you've done Calculus 1, when you start, you can be cleared to take Calculus 2, right? So we're looking for ways to try to give you those prerequisite clearances to give that leg up so you don't have to retake similar classes again. So that's all that we are looking at the transcripts for, okay? If you got awful grades, we're not going to deny you because you didn't get good grades, right? We're just going to try to find the best parts of your academic career and how that might help you in your career here at the community college. We do require proof of English proficiency. Most community colleges, for a TOEFL IBT, you're looking at a 61 score. On an IELTS, it's a 5.0. And many of us have our own free ESL English assessment tests that you can take instead. But in general, for the community colleges, we do have a lower English requirement because, again, we are here to support you. We can give you those ESL classes to help you improve your English. A lot of times it's not that you need help speaking, but it's that you need a little bit of assistance and guidance with your writing, because academic writing in English is not the same as writing in English on a text message or in an email or on the web somewhere for a Facebook thing, right? So some of our classes will be more geared towards preparing you to be successful in your college career and your classes that are going to be very heavily biased towards writing. And so we want to give you that support so that way you can feel like, okay, I know how to write. I know what words and vocabulary. And they're also going to be teaching you how or what professors in the US will be looking for as they write. Because as you know, the way you write something in the United States in English might not be valued the same way that you might write in Korea, right? I used to live in Brazil, and the way that they wrote was very archaic. They loved to embellish and flourish, and they loved adjectives and detail and things that was like 500 years ago. That's how we wrote, right? That's how Shakespeare wrote. Today, that's not how we like to see things in the US, right? So being able to help you understand what the expectation is from a US school and class and professor, that's why we do not have such a high English proficiency requirement, because we want you to feel comfortable that even if you don't feel as confident, or if your scores are not as proficient as you hope, that there is that support, and we will help to guide you to be successful on your career and pathway through college, okay? You do have that proof of financial support, just like Shah said, for them, and we would need a copy of your passport, all right? Next slide, please. So what are the benefits of coming to a community college? So I know many of you may already be studying at a university in Korea right now. Many of you may have already graduated. Maybe you're thinking about doing a graduate program. Maybe you're thinking about doing a postdoctorate program for a PhD or an EDD or something else. And a community college could be a great place for you to start for many different reasons, okay? The first and foremost is community college offers you a second chance to start over or to get your prerequisites done. So let's say you're in your first or second year of university in Korea, and maybe the school's just not right for you. Maybe you're not in the right frame of mind to be studying and your grades just aren't very good. You know what? Come to Fullerton College, come to a community college in California and start over, right? As I just said, we're not gonna not admit you for not having good grades. And all of your coursework will start over from Fullerton College. So when you're ready to transfer after 2 years to the university to finish your bachelor's degree, they're not going to be asking for your transcripts or your grades from Korea. They're only going to be asking from Fullerton College. So you get to start over. And it's not very often that we in life in general get a second chance, right? A clean slate, as we would say. You start from zero. So many students do find that they like the opportunity to come and transfer. And even though they might have already spent a year and a half back in Korea, back at home in their own university, they are excited and they are okay to start over again because they want to they know that they can do better. And this is an opportunity for them to show that and prove that. And it will allow them perhaps to transfer to a more competitive university than if you were trying to transfer directly from Korea to that more competitive university and your GPA doesn't convert as high, perhaps, right? So that's one of the opportunities that you might consider. If you're looking at a graduate program like a master's or a doctorate, a lot of students will come to the community college because they might just need a few prerequisite classes done, right? Maybe you were a business major and you got a business degree in Korea, but you now want to do an accounting master's because you've decided to change careers, but you didn't do 3 or 4 accounting classes when you were in your business. So you can come to Fullerton College, you can come to the community college and just do those 3 or 4 classes, get them done to make you more prepared and competitive for your application then to grad school. Same thing with a postdoctorate, same idea, get your prerequisites done and you can then move on, okay? As I mentioned earlier, there's more support starting at a community college. So you might be homesick. You may have traveled to the United States already. Many of you, I know I have many Korean students and a lot of times their first travel was to Hawaii, which is beautiful. And I'm so envious of them because I've only been there once and it was like 5 years ago and I'm older, but Hawaii is not California. It is its own unique sort of culture and place. And so again, when you come for a visit, yes, you get some exposure to what life is like here, but you're a tourist. You're not experiencing what it's like to figure out the bus schedule. How do I order this kind of meal? Where can I go to do my banking? What is the health insurance and medical policies look like because I broke my toe and I need help, right? So again, starting at the community college, we will give you more of that support because that is what our goal is. That is why we exist. We are here for our community, okay? And you, when you start, even though you might not have started here in Orange County or in California, you are now a part of our community and you are 100% us, okay? Lower costs, again, I will talk about in another slide. There are extra work opportunities. So when you earn any degree from a higher institution in the United States, depending on your major, whether you're STEM or not STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, you are entitled to work from anywhere from 12 to 36 months full-time legally after your program ends. And that's a great opportunity that many students want to take advantage of because they want to finish their degree and then go out and get real life work experience at a US company, right? Think of all the advantages that has when you go back home and you're trying to apply for a promotion or other new jobs and you have US based experience, okay? So these opportunities are available to you each time you graduate with a degree. And so many times, if you go directly to the university like CSUN or a CSU from Korea, you only get one opportunity because you graduate with a bachelor's degree, or maybe you graduate with the master's degree, and then you get that optional practical training, the OPT they call it, okay? But if you come and you start at the community college and you do an associate degree or you do a certificate, you get the OPT as well. Now, you only get it for 12 months at my institution because those are the rules. So it doesn't matter whether you're STEM or not, you only get 12 months. But then let's say you transfer to CSUN. Now you finish your bachelor's degree, or now you finish your master's, you get another OPT opportunity. So now you're getting anywhere from 1 to 4 years, depending on what your major is, to get that work experience. And that is so crucial. And it's such a wonderful opportunity that students don't always understand or even take advantage of when they come to the community college, or they're not thinking about what other opportunities exist beyond what I've mentioned that community college can offer you. And I think that work opportunity is so amazing and so wonderful. And I wish more students would take advantage of it. And that's why I'm trying to share with you that it could be an opportunity or something that you look at. And again, that's available to you even after a certificate, okay? Internship opportunities also exist. So you could be doing an internship class in your program, then transfer and continue doing more internship classes, and then do your OPT. There's a lot of opportunities here. And I really think if you're coming here to study, not only are you coming for the educational opportunities, but you're also coming for the work opportunity that could come from that. And that's just adding on. And also, you're making money. So you are able to earn in dollars, and whatever you have spent with that conversion from won to dollar, theoretically, depending on how well you get paid at your job that you're doing on OPT, you could be recouping some of that investment in your studies by working for that 1 year and then moving on. So there's lots of opportunities here. So please don't think that, oh gosh, it's so expensive, I'll never be able to make it work. There could be other ways. We just have to get a little bit creative. Obviously, work is not a guaranteed. You would have to apply for the job, search for it, interview, and be selected just like anyone else. But there's high probability, and there's a lot of opportunities, especially now with after COVID and people quitting. There's just a lot out there. So this could really be a great time for not only lots of choices, but also much better salaries than they might have been paying many years ago, okay? We do have a higher acceptance rate as a transfer student to a 4-year university, at least at the undergraduate level, okay? So if you were just starting, one example I give is to University of California, San Diego, UCSD, okay? UCSD has a, I think, 12% acceptance rate for first-time applicants. So those applicants who are applying in their first year at an undergraduate level program. But they have a 48 or 52% transfer acceptance rate for students transferring out of a community college. So you have a much higher chance of being accepted as a transfer student than you might as a first-time student. And again, I say this because if you are thinking of transferring from Korea to the university here, you may want to reconsider and just take a semester or two at the community college to get into that higher ratio potential. And the reason they have a higher acceptance is because students who are first time, if they don't get accepted to the school, they can always come to me, the community college. They have an option. But transfer students who have already finished with me or at the community college and are looking to transfer to the university, if they don't get accepted, where do they go? They don't have another school. They need to continue on to a university because they're in the process of getting their bachelor's degree. So that is why there is a higher transfer acceptance rate, because these students need a place. So they will not be as selective as they might be in students applying for their first year program there. So keep that in mind as well, okay? Many of us at the community college, we also have special agreements with universities across California and the United States in general. In California, every community college has a transfer agreement with one or more of the CSU campuses. So that would be a guarantee to at least one school in the CSU, but you might have more. We also have these transfer guarantees for the UC system as well. So if you're interested in UC Santa Barbara, UCLA, there are those opportunities, okay? Beyond that though, many of us have institutional partnerships with private and public schools in the state of California, as well as outside. I have at my school a partnership with Arizona State University as one that's pretty well known, but other schools will have other opportunities. And let me remind you, everything that you do at a community college in California, it's transferable to any school in the United States. You don't have to stay in California. You can go wherever you want to go. Everything you do here is completely transferable. There might be one or two small classes that are very unique or very specialized, but in general, the idea is you can start at a community college and go anywhere in the United States that you want to. You don't have to stay in California. And sometimes I encourage students not to, so you get a different experience. The East Coast is very different from the West Coast. The South is very different from the North, right? So you might find that you really love Florida, or you really love New York, or you really love Texas, or you really love North Dakota. I don't think I would like North Dakota, but I've never been there, so I don't want to say anything bad about it, but they're just offer different experiences, okay? One special agreement that my school has, as I mentioned, we have a very strong music program, is we have a transfer agreement with Berklee College of Music. Berklee College of Music is one of the top 3 or 5 music schools in the world. It's an excellent school. So we are one of only 3 community colleges in the entire United States that actually has this agreement with Berklee. And I think that really talks and shows you the quality of our music program, but also in general, beyond music, you can see the quality that we are offering you at the community college as well, because Berklee isn't gonna just set this up for any kind of school and any kind of program, okay? Next slide, please. So I keep talking about how much does it cost. So as you can remember, Shaw mentioned at the CSU that 1 year of studying for tuition and fees at the undergraduate level was around $16,000. Our costs here, I'm giving you an average, okay, because costs might vary a little bit depending on where you are at what school in the state. But in general, you can expect around $8,000 to $9,000 per year for 12 units each semester, 24 units total minimum. Obviously, if you take more units than that, you will pay a little bit more because you are paying per unit. But as you can see, we are about half the cost of what it would cost you to start at the CSU. And the UC is even more expensive. I think they're about $40,000. So again, you can maybe start to see why students, especially international students, are starting to see not only the value for education and transfer and these other things, but also in the savings. You're still getting a quality public education for half or more of the cost it is to go to a private or public school in California or in another state in the United States, okay? Books and supplies, insurance, living expenses, these are all variable depending on where you live. Living in San Francisco is a lot more expensive than living in Los Angeles. But living in Los Angeles or Orange County is a lot more expensive than living in the central part of California, which is sort of the agricultural area. So again, you can kind of estimate more or less, these are the general costs, but to study for 1 year, one academic year at a community college in California, you're looking at around $21,000 to $24,000 per year. Again, compare that to the CSU where you're looking at around $35,000, and compare that to the UC, right, where you're probably more $60,000, $70,000, okay? And on top of that, a private school, which is probably $80,000 or more. So the point I'm trying to say is, why pay the first 2 years more that you could be doing for less and be getting more support and more opportunities for work or transfer at the community college? There's just a lot of benefits that even I think domestic students, American students, they just don't know what's going on at the community college. It's kind of like a secret. And I'm trying to make everybody aware because I don't want it to be a secret anymore. But I'm also trying to share that around the world with everyone because this is also available to you. And I would hope that you would at least take an opportunity, take a moment to see how it works within your time schedule and what you are trying to do. It might not work, and you are more than welcome and encouraged to go directly into the CSU or a university system, and that's fine. You're always welcome to come back later and do something else at the community college if you'd like to do a certificate or something else. We'll always be here to welcome you. But I just want to make sure that you understand probably the biggest benefit is the cost. And it makes sense. And there's a reason why more and more international students are choosing the community college. Okay. Sean, next slide, please. This gives you a quick overview of what a transfer 2+2 program kind of looks like. So I talked about it briefly. You start 2 years at the community college, and then you transfer on to finish your last 2 years. This is if you are following a bachelor and undergraduate program, okay? If you are doing a master's, then obviously you wouldn't be doing this, but you might be utilizing the community college to do those prerequisites. But this gives you an idea that you can still get your bachelor's degree, your undergraduate degree done in 4 years if you want to, starting at the community college. And as I said before, you can start here in California and transfer to Oregon, transfer to another place. So the community college gives you an opportunity to also explore different parts of the United States and get different experiences and sort of build your network across, not just in California. So keep those things in mind. Sean, next slide, please. We talked about the guaranteed admission. So again, just briefly, public schools, the UCs, there are 6 UCs that have a guaranteed admission with every community college in California. We have a partnership with all 23 of the CSUs. And then as I mentioned as well, private and out-of-state schools, we do have various ones. Obviously, it's not with every single school, but you would have to look to see if any community college has a particular relationship with a transfer school that you are interested in.